Hey Judy,
Uh-huh.
you know what these are called?
Uh-uh.
Chinese lanterns.
Ah, very appropriate, because we're shining the light on fall next on Garden Time.
Welcome to Garden Time. We are at Drake's in Raleigh Hills, and you know, they, like so many independent garden centers right now, are chocked full of fall color, like these beautiful Chinese lanterns, mums, and specialty peppers.
Coming up in the show today, we'll share with you an easy applesauce recipe.
We'll also show you how to look for diseased and damaged trees and how to take care of them before winter.
But first, we'll show you how you can become a volunteer at the Oregon Garden.
So I'm at Silverton at the Oregon Garden, and I'm here with two ladies named Sue, and we're going to be talking today about volunteerism, because a lot of the portion of the work that goes on here and makes this garden so beautiful is done by volunteers. So first of all, we're going to talk to this Sue. How are you, Sue?
I am good, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Now tell me, what is it specifically that you do here, first of all?
I do whatever I'm asked in the horticulture department, which is outside, done outside, and I pull weeds, trim,
So really,
plant.
it's pretty much anything that, like, when you get here at the date, and you know, you get here in the morning on your time that you're allotted to
Right.
do, is there like a list? Do you talk with someone about what you do, what needs to be done?
Right. There's a check-in list, and there's usually a list where we go and which horticulture person we're with.
Cool. That's
and
very
then
cool.
yes,
And so
then we're
it's
told
pretty
what
much
to
direct.
do.
You're not just randomly tossed out into the garden, are you?
we have gotten very good at being told what to do and where to go now.
And I would want to know, just personally, why? Why do you volunteer? What motivates you to do that?
I absolutely love it up here. The garden is a great teacher for
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah.
It just is unbelievable, the number of people that come through here, and the horticulture staff just is really a wealth of information.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now we're going to switch gears to yet another Sue. How are you, Sue?
I'm fine, thank
And
you.
you, though, do something that I was unaware was really a part of the volunteer part of things
Yes.
here. What do you do?
Yes, well, I'm a volunteer with Guest Services, and we have a lot of events at the Oregon Garden, wonderful events, such as Christmas in the Garden, which is coming up between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we need a lot of volunteers.
And so what do the volunteers do in these areas?
Well, whatever's needed, which would be perhaps welcoming guests as they come in, or taking them around, showing them the different displays.
Yeah.
We also need, before the event, we need people setting up for the event. So there are lots of things for people who have different skills, and we'd like to use volunteers wherever they're most comfortable.
And I would ask you the same question, because I can, as a gardener myself, I could understand why someone who loves gardening
Right.
would want to do that. What is your motivation?
Well, we have to have people come and look at the garden.
Sure.
And so if we don't have people welcoming them and inviting them to come in, they're not going to feel that this is a place that they can come.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the most important thing for us is to have events, and then just on the day-to-day basis, we need volunteers.
And just between us,
Okay.
do you actually like to garden at home?
I do. I have a garden at home. My tomatoes aren't very good this year, but my
It's-
flowers are fine.
It's not a confession, dear. I bet your tomatoes are lovely. So, you know, this is a great place. We love coming out here ourselves. Garden Time spends a lot of time out here. It's a beautiful place. It's a wonderful part of Oregon. And if you're thinking to yourself, all right, I might be interested in doing some kind of volunteer work here, you can go to gardentime.tv. We will click you over to their website, and you can find out everything you need to know to sign up. Sue, thank you so much. It was lovely.
Thank
Great.
you. Wonderful.
If you build it right. Build it to last. Don't just build it for yourself. Build it for the next generation. Build it with Parr Lumber. And keep building the Great Northwest.
Parr's deck sale is going on now with starting prices on TimberTech 218, Trex 225. Add backyard accents with Bakelite and accessories, fire pits, waterfalls, and more.
Our customers are very clear about the fact that Standard TV and Appliance has the best selection available. They have the most broad selection out of any other of their competitors.
There's just every kind of brand represented. We have absolutely no problem finding what we need.
There's so many different choices and so many brands that Standard offers that, big box stores don't.
Since 1947, we set the standard. Standard TV and appliance.
There's something for the whole family at Bauman's Harvest Festival, the #1 pumpkin patch. Go through the corn maze, ride the swing lines, or dare to enter the dark maze. We are open every day till Halloween. Be sure to come down for some fresh apple cider, delicious pies, and find the perfect pumpkin for carving. There's food, fun, activities, and admission is just $5 or free with a wristband. Bauman's is located just 5 miles off the Woodburn exit. Go to baumanfarms.com.
I am at the community garden at Aurora Place in Vancouver, and it's actually part of the Second Step program. And I'm with Debbie Dover, who's the executive director. So Debbie, what is the Second Step program?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It is a program that provides permanent and transitional housing for families, singles, anyone who just needs a little hand up. Our mission is to provide housing and to help folks become self-sufficient.
And it's great too that you have this program with a garden, because when you have a house, you'd like to have a garden too. So
of course,
that's really something special to be able to offer and help teach and mentor those people.
Well, and we found that a lot of folks who didn't know how to garden became fantastic gardeners and loved being able to produce their own food and are actually eating healthier. So that was a nice benefit of that as well.
Well, I'm going to talk to Chris now, who's actually the community manager here.
Correct.
And so you help facilitate and get the people out here to do the gardening, which is wonderful.
We've had mentors come out. Right now we're in need of mentors. We have 6 community gardens, and we have one that got expanded by a family that has the maximum amount of people in a unit, which is 7 people. We have corn, tomatoes, peppers, raspberries. We have a fruit tree growing, and when there's an abundance of stuff, then they go ahead and share with the other tenants. We have singles that share a bed. We're looking for volunteers to help expand our gardens as well as beautify it a little bit.
Oh, sure. And this is so great because you see, I'm sure on the weekends when people are here later today, they'll be out here with families. And so, multi-generational, all kind of digging in the dirt.
They do. And we've had a lot of children try new things because they've planted it themselves. So that has been a really fun thing to see.
Yeah,
so.
I saw some zucchinis that are ready to be harvested, so that's going to be on someone's list of someone's dinner tonight.
And we share recipes and things like that. So we've really have expanded quite a bit since the building has been here for about 7 years.
So Chris, do you need volunteers? You need people to come and help?
Volunteers would be great, and mentors. We need to expand and have some new beds, so we'd need the dirt and the wood to build them. Actually, probably some volunteers to help put them together. We've tried to have a fenced-in area to make it more homey looking.
Sure.
So we really need help and volunteers, like a Boy Scout troop or something, to help with doing the fence area, as well as we're hoping to have a few more picnic tables so we can have everyone out enjoying the area as well.
So if you're in the area, you can't come out and help, but if you don't have the time or you don't live close by and you really want to help, there's another way that you can. So Debbie, what's coming up in the agenda?
Well, in October we are having our 4th annual Step Into Fashion event. It is an event, it's a fundraiser, and it's a dinner, and we also honor 4 folks that have come into our housing in various ways. They receive a makeover, they receive some clothing. We partner with Agave Denim and Lily Atelier to provide the clothing. There's Park West Studio does the hair and makeup. So it's a really great effort in honoring folks who've made a huge transformation in their lives, and we always say we want to step up the outside. So you want to make the outside feel like the inside.
Sure.
And that's on October 23rd on a Thursday evening at Royal Oaks Country Club here in Vancouver from about 5:30 to about 9 o'clock. And we'll have a great program. We have some community models we have the mayor of Vancouver modeling, and we have several other folks who have decided that they would help us this year. So it's we have a judge that's going to model. We have the mayor. We have several. We have a woman from the city of Vancouver. So it's a great diverse group of people that are going to model some clothing and help us raise some funds. So we're really pleased to. This is our 4th year.
Well, it sounds like a great event. And so if you have any other questions, go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to Second Step, and you can find out how you can help this great, really great program here in Vancouver. Thanks, ladies. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
When I came to Capital Auto Group the first time, I was looking at a WRX. Of course, never financing a car before. I was very limited when it came to, putting money down and stuff like that, and they were able to really help me. And they worked diligently for 2 days, and they eventually got my payments to where they were reasonable and I could actually buy the car. They actually cared about me and what I wanted, not what they wanted. At Capital Subaru, I got it my way on the Parkway.
Garden Time is going to Ireland. Join me, William McLenathan, and Judy Alaruso for a tour of the Emerald Isle in July 2015. For more information, go to gardentime.tv and click on the airplane.
Cascade Flooring America is dedicated to making your new home, remodel, or decorating dream come true. As the premier flooring retailer in Vancouver, we have a proven track record receiving Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 4 years. With products ranging from vinyl and carpet to hand-scraped exotic wood and granite slab, we bring passion into your home's interior landscape. Professional certified designers are ready to help you. Cascade Flooring America, where friends send friends. With you every step of the way.
Fall is a time for bold statements. Your garden can make a bold statement too. Let French Prairie Perennials turn your yard into a beautiful statement as unique as you are. Having trouble picking out the right plants? Try our new visual scaping service. Select from our palette of rare and unusual plants and see them placed in your yard before you buy. Then visit our gift shop to find the perfect gift for your home. French Prairie Perennials in Dundee, or visit us online at FrenchPrairiePerennials.com.
I'm here with Terrell Collier, and I think fall is the time to hug your tree, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, you got to take good care of these precious creatures.
You really do. Well, they are a living creature, and you really need to pay some attention. And during the fall season, it's great because there are several things that are happening that we can look at, and really it's kind of the best time to take care of those things.
Yeah, well, it's a good time to do a fall checkup because guess what's coming?
Winter
storms.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we get some pretty good windstorms.
So why we're hugging this beauty here, but tell me what's wrong with it. What do we need to think about?
One of the things that you want to, when you evaluate a tree, is to look for potential hazards and things that could maybe break off, split off. And what we have right here is a V crotch, and we call this a codominant stem. So when you have two stems of equal diameter, oftentimes they're very structurally weak. So this is not a strong attachment like a single stem would be. So it's very common that these types of structural stems will break off.
And really, once they get this old, you can do something about it, but you don't really want to go cutting it apart.
That's right. So the best way to take care of it is when the tree is young, and so you're making small cuts. So when a tree is like maybe 1 inch in diameter, go ahead and take off that one stem. When a tree gets this old, it's too much. It'd be too much of a wound to remove this leader on it here.
Yeah.
So what we would do instead is to put a cable up about 2/3 of the way up in the tree, and then we'd also thin the tree on each side to take some of the weight off.
Now, another problem that we have here in this area is with a certain bird.
Oh yes, and birds can do damage to trees.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you bird damage on pines.
Perfect. Now, Terrell, here we are in a little grove of conifers, and you can pretty much just look at these trees and go, wow, this might not be right.
yeah, there's some warning signs here. So I see two things going on in this tree. Do you?
Well, this little blob here is pretty gnarly, and then I see what looks like a woodpecker holes everywhere.
Exactly, exactly. Well, let's cover those. This is a type of woodpecker called a sapsucker, and they like to feed on trees for, one, the sap, and then when they cause an injury, then there's insects that get in there, and then they go after the insects. So the sapsucker, they use these trees like a feeding station. And so they'll revisit these trees maybe for a couple of years until that individual bird flies off or dies or something like that.
And they will ultimately damage the tree unto death sometimes.
And I have seen trees that are much worse than this, and the top, it dies from this point upward.
That point up.
So that is quite common. Now this injury right here probably won't kill this tree, but there are worse examples.
Yeah. Well, and this, anytime that you see a blob of sap like this on a tree, chances are pretty good there's something in there you don't want to be there.
Yes, yes. And so this is, when you see sap coming out of a conifer tree, it's a wound response, an injury response. Whether it's a car hit it, but in this situation, we actually have an insect borer that's getting into this tree.
And I see you pointed this out where it came out and flew off.
That's right, yeah. So we have a little pupa shell there, the exoskeleton of the pupa, that's evidence that there was an insect in there.
It's just in amber waiting to happen. Now we have a few other things, so let's take a walk over here and look at some other stuff.
Alrighty.
Now, Terrell, we are standing under a Liriodendron, a tulip tree, and you can see parts of it are dead all over. There's a specific reason why that's happened.
Yeah, so if you have a tree that is declining and you see a lot of branch die back and it just generally looks unhealthy, oftentimes you have to look at the roots. So right here we have a problem with what we call stem girdling roots. So girdling roots. So do you see this root that's right here?
Sure.
And it's caused a flat side, but it's an embedded root. So it's like a tourniquet. And as the tree grows and the girdling root, it gets tighter and tighter. Yeah. So this tree is probably on its way out in the next couple of years.
Wow. So at this time, would you suggest going ahead and just chopping it down? Because
well,
or do you want to get what you can
out
of
it? Yeah, you might, if you get enjoyment for the next couple of years, but eventually there's really no cure at
no,
this
there's
stage.
going to be changes.
There's going to be changes. It's
Now,
going to be dying.
Right behind you is another tree that looks like it's actually having some struggles, but you say it isn't.
That's right, and it looks very alarming. There's a lot of brown foliage on that tree, and we get a lot of calls at our company about this. So it could be a warning sign. But if you see the interior foliage of a conifer or an evergreen tree turning brown, that's a natural foliage drop, okay? And that, I mean, it's just like all trees, they have to shed their foliage at some point.
Sure, sure, so that makes sense.
So the key is that if the tips are green, it's fine.
So if it's got that new growth coming on and it's healthy, chances are it's just the
then
leaf
it's
drop.
fine.
And one last thing, there's almost like a mushroom-looking thing coming out of a tree.
Oh,
that's a sign of
that's
badness,
a bad
right?
sign, actually.
Okay.
Bad sign. When you see a mushroom, or we call them conch, it's a decay of fungi, and so it's a sign that there's internal decay inside that tree. So if you see this kind of woody mushroom growing out of a tree, that's a bad sign.
Well, you know, there is a lot of information that we've given you today, but to find out and to really make it much easier, you can call Collier Arbor Care or run by and get this great little catalog that they have that lists all of the different things that to really look for that are the most prevalent problems with trees. If you have any other questions, go to gardentime.tv and we can click you over to Terrell's website. Thank you so much, Terrell. Always a pleasure.
You. All right, same here.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Hi, I'm Sarah from Portland Nursery, and I'd like to invite you to our annual apple tasting. No one does apples like Portland Nursery, so come join us, always the second and third weekends of October. Sample a variety of apples from sweet to tart. Enjoy fresh pressed apple cider, piping hot apple strudel, and bins of freshly picked apples and pears. We'll have live entertainment, crafts for the kids, and cooking demonstrations. Don't miss our annual apple tasting at our 50th and Stark location. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Hey guys!
We thought you'd be out fishing, Quinn.
Hey, I love fish and I like to eat fish. Sometimes I need something from Gartner's.
Don't worry, Quinn. We've got you covered.
Head to the patio, fire up the grill with awesome marinated meats and chicken. Summer never tasted so good. Now this is how you cure a long day on the water. Gartner's Meats treats you right.
Fall is a time to think of planting and planning. Planting new plants now will help them get a jump start on next year. Black Gold All-Purpose can help your plants get ready for winter and next spring. Formulated with a blend of natural and organic nutrients, it contains everything your plants and spring bulbs need for a happy and healthy start. Look for Black Gold All-Purpose at your local garden center or nursery. Black Gold, all the riches of the earth.
Every year, trees fall or break, causing property damage, power outages, and injury. With fall and winter approaching, now is the time for Collier Arbor Care to get your trees ready for the extreme conditions ahead. With over 75 years of experience in tree, shrub, and lawn care, Collier Arbor Care has the trusted expertise you need. Learn how to spot the signs of potentially hazardous trees at collierarbor.com, then call for a free consultation. Collier Arbor Care, environmentally friendly since 1937.
Garden Time's Incredible Edibles.
Well, if you have apples or you just love apples, we have a recipe for you. I'm at Smithberry Barn with Joelle, and we're making applesauce today. And Joelle, you make it look so easy to peel and core things. Unbelievable.
It is pretty easy with this tool. This is an apple core peeler slicer. It's an all-in-one tool that we use for making things like pie and applesauce very easy. Today we're doing Liberty apples, which are very crisp and they work really well in this contraption, so to speak. So we're taking the bottom end of it,
fitting it on,
plugging it into the piercing there, and then we just...
But I noticed we're not peeling, so why aren't we peeling?
Exactly. So today, because we're using the Liberty, and I wanted to see if we can get some nice pink applesauce from that nice red skin that they have, we decided to pull off the peeler part of it, which is this part right here. And so we're actually leaving the skins on, and at the end of our cooking, we're going to then use our food mill and take out the skins, and then we'll have our nice applesauce with hopefully a little bit of pink.
Well, very clever. So how many apples do we have in here?
So we have about 16 apples for this recipe. We're going to be adding some other ingredients to that as well. I think we have about 16. We were working beforehand here.
Right. But we have another variety in here too, so we're kind of cheating. It's not just Liberty.
It's not just Liberty. We added a little bit of Jonagold, so about 4 Jonagold to I think 12 Liberty apples is what we chose today. And you can do a combination of any apples. Some sauce up a little bit better. We like to think about you know, different flavor profiles, how juicy one is compared to another. In this case, both are really juicy, and we just really liked the red skin on the Liberty.
Well, neat. And then we have some other ingredients here. So what's this?
So we're adding a little bit of brown sugar and white sugar, a combination of the two.
I like that. And then also we have some lemon juice.
We're doing lemon juice to keep the flavor fresh and to keep them from turning brown.
All right. Okay, and then you got some zest there?
I'm going to do some lemon zest just for a little extra zing.
That always gives a nice
You
flavor
can do
to
as
it.
much as you like here too. I'm going to do, oops, well,
There
that's
you
what
go.
I'm going to do.
And then we have some water.
And about a cup of water.
And can we add cinnamon? I love cinnamon in my applesauce.
You certainly can. I decided not to today, but we do have the Saigon cinnamon here in our store, and it's really, really good cinnamon.
All right, and so it's ready to go on the stove. How long do we cook it?
About 20 minutes. You're going to cook it until it's softened completely. So depending on the kind of apple and how firm they are, you may, need a little bit more, a little bit less time, but about 20 minutes.
All right, well, let's get this cooking.
All right.
So Joelle, it's all cooked down now, and it took a little bit longer than we expected?
It did. I think because we left the skins on, I decided,
okay.
yeah. So we ended up cooking it for about 40 minutes.
All right.
And it's going to vary depending on what kinds of apples and then whether you leave the skins on, clearly.
right.
So what we're doing now is we're going to transfer that. It's basically cooked pretty much down, a little bit chunky. You can see those skins in there. It's turned a little nice
It's a pretty
bit
color.
of pink. And we're putting it into our food mill, which you would not have to do if you liked a chunkier applesauce and you had bothered to take the skins off before cooking. But because we left the skins on, we want to run it through the food mill, which is going to remove the skins, and then it's also going to make it a little bit finer, a little bit more like baby food. We carry these in our store. They do have a couple of different sizes of I don't know what it's called, discs.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can get very fine, or you can get a little bit less fine sauce. So once we've run it through there,
All right.
we end up with a really nice,
That's very nice.
steel nice
Okay,
spoon.
sure. Oh, pretty texture.
And then I'm going to be freezing,
Okay.
not canning, but I am using canning jars. So I have my canning jar set up with my funnel,
Nice.
and we're basically just going to fill that jar.
And this is just a regular canning jar?
Just a regular
Same
canning
thing?
jar. I stick them in the freezer. We'll go ahead and fill it up, seal it, let it cool a little bit, and then we can put it into the freezer. It lasts about 6 months in the freezer.
Wonderful. And just tighten it down, kind of clean it up so there's not any kind of debris on the outside, and put it in the freezer.
Yes, and so basically we grow about 20 different kinds of apples
See
here.
that? Look at that.
And you may choose, depending on the time of year, we do grow Gravenstein, Akani, some really nice saucing apples, which would be great for sauce. A little bit later in the season, we've run out of and sold out of those. And so we offer different kinds for different uses. And then that's where we end up having you come in and sample the different varieties that we have, talk to us
Wonderful.
about what we recommend the different varieties for, and then we have these handouts which help you also make your own decisions.
It's really helpful. And then these are on the website too.
Exactly. You can go to smithberrybarn.com, and we have a list of all of our apples and pears that we grow, and information about how to use them and when they're ripe, so that you can tell when to come out for which kind of apple that you're looking for.
And that's so helpful. It's worth a visit out here. Bring the family and bring all of your appetite to come out and pick out apples and make some of these recipes. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We wanted to say a big thank you to Drake's for letting us spend time here today. Now remember, Drake's and all independent garden centers have a great display of plants right now for your garden to help spruce it up for fall.
For more information or to see segments of today's show, please go to gardentime.tv.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week again, right here on Garden Time.
Nestled in the oaks of the Willamette Valley is a nursery that is truly exceptional. At Out in the Garden Nursery, you will find a vast array of shade plants, ornamental grasses, and hardy perennials.
Come to our season-ending sale starting September 27th and ending on October 18th.
We offer over 100 types of perennials. Plus, we offer the best in personal attention. Out in the Garden Nursery, where we grow great gardens one plant at a time.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.